Hi there. Many others, like you, have asked us to give you a basic timeline of the Bible. Let's take a look. You can discover this answer and more on gotquestions.org. In the most basic sense, the Bible timeline is endless and eternal, as it chronicles creation through the end of ages. From a more practical viewpoint, the Bible timeline, on which most scholars agree, begins with the calling of Abram, renamed Abraham by God in approximately 2166 BC, and ends with the writing of the book of Revelation in approximately AD 95. Prior to Abraham's birth, the Bible timeline contains a rich history of creation, Adam and Eve, the fall of man, extensive genealogies, stories of human travails leading up to Noah, and the Great Flood, and much, much more. Note these dates reflect a young earth creationism timeline. History helps to place many of the events of the Old and New Testaments on the Bible timeline. For example, Moses is estimated to have been born in 1526 BC, and Joshua to have entered the Promised Land at approximately 1406 BC. The period of Israel's 10 judges ended about 1052 BC, at the onset of King Saul's reign. From here forward, concrete, historically verifiable dating is possible. King Saul, the famous King David, and King Solomon all presided over a united kingdom of Israel. In 931 BC, after Solomon's reign, Israel was divided. Various kings ruled the north, Israel, and the south, Judah, until the fall of the northern kingdom in 722 BC and the fall of Jerusalem, the southern capital, in 586 BC. The exile of Judah lasted until about 538 BC, when Persian King Cyrus directed the Jews to return to Israel and build a temple for God at Jerusalem. The Jews restored Jerusalem between this time and approximately 432 BC, when the last book of the Old Testament, Malachi, was written. What follows on the Bible timeline is the intertestamental period, lasting approximately 430 years. The Bible timeline continues in the New Testament. In approximately 5 BC, Jesus Christ, the Messiah of Israel and descendant of King David, was born in Bethlehem. Jesus began his public ministry in circa AD 26, beginning with his baptism. Jesus' ministry lasted about 3.5 years. In the period AD 29 through 30, Jesus spent most of his time in Judea, preaching, teaching, performing miracles, and further equipping the disciples to continue on after his death. Then come the most significant events in the Bible timeline. Early in the year 30, Jesus set his face toward Jerusalem. During the last week of his life, Jesus celebrated the Passover, he instituted the Lord's Supper, and gave his farewell discourse. Finally, he was betrayed, arrested, tried, crucified, and comes back to life. The risen Christ completed a 40-day ministry, which ended with his ascension to heaven. The Bible timeline continues through the 1st century AD, as the apostles and Jesus' followers begin to fulfill the Great Commission. The first book of the New Testament, either Galatians or James, could have been written as early as AD 49. This means that the original texts were written eyewitness accounts of Jesus' death and resurrection. The final book of the New Testament, Revelation, was written by John in approximately AD 95. All right, that answers your question. Can you give me a basic timeline of the Bible? Thanks for watching.